welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John and
my name is John, and glad to see you all again. Hope you're all doing well. Okay, and I'd like to thank you all for once again for the kind comments left in my earlier video with my friend John here. So again, thank you very much for the kind words. It's always appreciated, you know that. Okay, and hope you're all doing well.
Well, it's always good to have you on the channel, John. As you know, we always talk behind the scenes as to when you're coming on next, and when we get a bit spare time, like when we're off work together, that's the first thing we talk about, getting together and that. And on this video, John has been picking up some stuff on my behalf, and he's brought the stuff over for me, and I'm so glad to be receiving it. And also as well, he's brought us some other ones that he was passing on. So just excited to see what John's got. So take it away, John.
Okay, that's fine. My balls. Okay, I'll make a start. Let's have a look here. Okay, and I'll go through the used freebies first, so just bear with me there. And the first one is the Shaw Brothers Classic King Boxer. I'm quite sure that those of you there familiar with the Kung Fu cinema will know that this is the first ever Kung Fu film that was released to Western audiences in the States. Yeah, in the States, known as The Five Fingers of Death, which is a great title. And this is the UK DVD release from, I believe, Momentum. Yeah, quite a few years ago.
I got that out on VHS, actually, I remember.
It would be the big box Warner prices. Yeah, with the black border. Yeah. To be honest, I've recently got the Arrow Shaw Brothers box set, which includes this title in it. So there's no need for me to hold on to this DVD. So I'm passing on to my good friend John. This is a great film. You know, it's a classic Shaw Brothers. You know, and the print on this it's beautiful. The picture, I mean, for a DVD, the picture quality is beautiful. So God only knows what the Blu-rays are going to look like. You know, but this is a classic, and it's going to a good home.
Thanks, John.
Saw the late Lolia as well, one of the old Kung Fu stalwarts of his time. You know, really? Yeah, the guy there. He's been in loads of different films. You know, playing good guys. Well, predominantly bad guys, but
looks a lot like Bruce Lee on that bit. The Bruce Lee stance. No, that's a good film. I remember seeing it.
The next one, we have another Shaw Brothers classic, and that's 36 Chamber of Shaolin. Now, again, anybody familiar with Kung Fu cinema they'll know about this. You know, and again, it's one of the greats. You know, starring the great Lau Kar-fai. You know, basically just a guy who gets sick of the way the Chinese people are being downtrodden. I believe it's by the Manchus or the Qings. The Manchus. And basically, he goes to train himself at the Shaolin Temple to improve his Kung Fu skills so he can stand up for the people. You know, and again, it's I believe it was cut for the UK VHS release. I think it was about quite a bit cut. I'm not sure if it was 70 minutes. Yeah, quite a bit cut apparently. But again, as far as I'm aware, this is the full version. And to be honest with you, the transfer could be better. I think King Boxer, even though it's the older film, look better than this. Personally, I'll be honest with you.
Is that about 1978?
This was, I think it was 1976. I think I could be. It might be 76, 78 thereabouts. King Boxer, I think, was 1971. I think, and that does look the better film. Yeah. Wow. You know, but it's anyway, it's a classic. So if you're into Kung Fu film cinema, it's a must see.
To be honest, this is one of my favourite films. I think this is absolutely brilliant. I know the dads will love this movie. It is spectacular, isn't it? It's one of the.
Oh, it's one of the greats.
If someone says, "What would your 5 sort of movies to recommend to somebody?" This one would be in there for this whole.
It is, yeah. I mean, like I say, it's a classic, but the sequel as well, Return to the 36 Chamber, is great as well. I mean, that was released as this particular film was released as the Master Killer in the States, and that's the kind of nickname Lau Kar-fai has over there, I believe, amongst Kung Fu fans, right. The Master Killer. You know, the next one is again another Shaw Brothers effort, Chang Chi's 5 Shaolin Masters. Again, I believe this has been included in Arrow's Regent Shaw Scope box set. Not a bad one on this one. Again, great picture quality, great cast of veteran Kung Fu stars. I think the choreography, not bad for its time. You know, I think it was Lau Kar-leung who did actually Lau Kar-leung and Lau Kar-wing did the fights in this, and not too bad. They've done better, but it's certainly not a bad film. You know, so certainly watchable.
Don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, well, I mean, any of that Shaw Brothers stuff from that period is well worth a watch, you know.
Well, everything I've seen by the Shaw Brothers from that time that's been released by 88 has been amazing.
And the good thing is, as well, I've yet to see a bad remastered Shaw Brothers transfer. They all look great.
Yeah, right.
And the next one is no exception. This is the US release of Marshall Club, The Slip. And this was from, I think, 1980, 1981 thereabouts. Lovely colourful transfer on this one. And it's about two rival martial arts schools, you know, and the trouble getting into. And this one, it's worth watching this just for the end fight, which takes place in like a very narrow alley, where both of the fighters, in this case Wang Lung Wei and Lau Kar Fei, have to basically try to adjust their fighting styles because they haven't got much room to maneuver, and the choreography is superb. It's definitely the best part. I mean, the film itself, it's a great looking film, but if you had to watch it for one thing, it would be the end fight, because it's brilliant. It's really well done.
Wow, that sounds really good. Like I say, Deborah loves this sort of stuff. She really does.
I'm glad to hear that, actually.
I don't know why she does. She just sort of took to it and she says, "Oh, sometimes I'll say, what do you want to watch?" And she'll say, she hasn't got a thought of it, but if I come down with a fistful of stuff and one of them is one of these type of movies, she'll go for these ones straight away. Which is odd.
I'm glad to hear
her
it.
choice.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, because I think it's great when, I've said this before, when somebody who wouldn't normally enjoy martial arts films gives them a go, likes what they see, and then decides to give a few more go. You know, I'm all for that, you know. Right, okay, and next up is another Chang Che effort, Heroes 2. Again, it's another slipcase release. And again, this is one of those like Shaolin students versus the Manchus effort. In this case, it's basically detailing the efforts of three, I believe, historical figures from around the time. Hung Zi Quan, often played by Chen Quan Tai. Feng Xiu, often played by Alexander Fu Sheng, and later on in the 90s by Jet Li. And then Hu Chin, which I believe was played by Chi Quan Chun, if I remember rightly. I saw this film many times in the early 90s on the old Warner VHS when I was a kid, but this is the widescreen remastered version. Looks great as well, you know. It's, again, the choreography, it is what it is for the time. I prefer some of the later kind of choreography, but still well worth a watch.
Actually, John, I've never heard of this movie. What you're saying about that, but I'm going to say, you know, the slipcases on there. You know, when these were coming, obviously you must have had these for a while now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did you have a thing about slipcases, or were they were just there? Did you not even think about them?
No, it was just the way they just came with slipcases. Yeah, I mean, I was
never like massively into my slipcase until I would say recently-ish. They weren't a thing that I would ever, if I didn't have it on a DVD, or even a Blu-ray, I wouldn't be that bothered.
Yeah, I was the same.
Getting the more of the sort of the collectible stuff, and you know there's a slipcase version out there.
Yeah, they are.
You kind of want the slipcase, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was the same with Blu-rays. I mean, yes, if I get a slipcase release, that's fine. If I don't get one, it's not the end of the world. But I do think it's certainly becoming more prevalent now amongst collectors. You know, I mean, every release seems to have a slipcase or a steel book or a rigid slipcase, something like that. I mean, if I can get one, preferably yes, but I don't have to have one.
Yeah.
And the next one is another slipcase release, and this is the recent Donnie Yen actioner, Raging Fire. Now, with this, to me, this is a pretty solid action of this. I mean, yes, it's quite derivative of other films. I've detected elements of The Dark Knight in this, and the Michael Mann film Heat.
Really?
Yeah, you can tell there's certain parts which have come from certain Hollywood films, but you know, it wouldn't be the first Hong Kong film to do that. But there's some solid action here. And then now, Donnie Yen, to me, yes, he's still got it. Don't get me wrong, he's still got it. He is looking noticeably older, and in this film, maybe it's just my eyes aren't as good as what they used to be, I don't know. But in this film, he looks a bit thinner in this. You know, Donnie's always been a bit toned, you know, in great shape. Yeah. And even now, he's, like I say, he's still got it. But he looks a bit thinner in this film. I don't know. Again, maybe it's just my eyes just playing tricks on me. But great fights, great action, you know. And me personally, you don't tend to get many great action films from Hong Kong. I think that golden period's over, sadly. But this is certainly a bit of a throwback to the old school and well worth a watch.
Well, actually, remember when I said to you when you had your movies over there, and I said, "Oh, there's one I've got my eye on there," and I thought it was this one,
Donnie Yen.
Because I thought As soon as I saw it, I thought, yep, that's Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
And I do know it's just come out, hasn't it? Is it a steelbook? Am I just
It's coming out as I think it's a 4K, a limited 4K UHD Blu-ray steelbook combo. It's got a different cover as well.
Right, but I think I think we saw it on Sky Movies, and I thought, oh, I watched that, and I didn't realise it was so new.
Oh yeah, it's
no, Deborah will be well over that one because she's.
I was thinking of the devs like when.
Yeah, she'd. Well, like I say, if I say to her, look, Donnie Yen's in the mood. Well, actually, on that one, when we were looking on Netflix the other night, we saw that I was just looking for Donnie Yen. I just put him in a search thing, and it came up with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What's it?
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Exactly, that as well, part 2. And I didn't know they made a sequel, which is like a Netflix original.
Yeah, that was news to me.
Donnie Yen's in it, And
really?
so is Michelle Yeoh.
Ah,
so I thought,
right,
I'll have to see that one. But I think with it being Netflix originally, you just don't hear about it. But it's brand new.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see that. But anything to do with Donnie Yen always gets my attention, as you know.
Well, like I say, there was you get the DVD, the Blu-ray, and it's also coming out. I think it's Cine Asia's very first UHD. So we'll see how it goes.
So I was into that. See, 88 are doing Drive.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So when's that out? Is that out now, or is it?
I think it's coming out shortly. I mean, it hasn't been 5 minutes since I gave you the DVD.
I know, what about that?
Yeah. Let's have a look. The next one is the Jackie Chan actioner. Well, action drama, I should say, Heart of the Dragon, I believe from 1986, 87.
86?
Yeah, 86, 87, yeah.
I was just going to say, I've never heard of that one.
It's, well, I mean, you get the 88, the Blu-ray from 88 films, which I think has 2 or 3 different cuts of the films on it. I think a full version as well, I believe. Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
This was it's a bit like a Hong Kong version of Rain Man with more action, but this was a couple of years before Rain Man, 2 or 3 years before Rain Man actually was out in Hollywood, in the States. It's more of a drama than actioner. But when the action kicks in, again, it's typically great from that kind of late 80s middle to late 80s Hong Kong. So again, it's Jackie Chan, it's Sammo Hung, even though the latter doesn't do any fights. But give it a shot. If you're a Jackie Chan fan, you've probably seen it anyway already.
Well, actually, John, I'm going to jump in here very quickly. When I was upstairs looking at shelf 2, what's going to be shelf 2. Yeah. Now, when I get shelf 2, I'm going to put my DVDs back in shelf 1 where the DVDs were, but they're overtaken by Blu-rays at the minute. Those Blu-rays will go on shelf 2. Now, all of these movies, these Chinese movies that you've got, these Cine Asia ones, I'm going to put them all together.
Good.
And then they'll have a home there, and I can go through them systematically because I know there's loads in there that Deborah would like to see. But of course, they're in a bit of a stack at the minute because I've got space.
I know.
So when I get the space for them, these will all go out and to be watched as well. Because it's like I say, it's also a good thing to do to know if you've got ones that you might upgrade to Blu-ray or you might just leave as a DVD.
Well, that's why I've been passing these Shaw Brothers ones over, because I know you haven't got the Show Scope box set yet, but you're in 2 minds. I thought, well,
I am on the fence, but it's I don't know. Well, put it this way: if I see a few of these and it's still around, then I'm probably going to go for it.
That's what I mean. You can watch the DVDs if you like them. If you like them enough to go for the box set, and by all means give it a shot. Yeah. If you think, well, I like them, but not enough to buy the Blu-rays, when you stick with the DVDs, that's fine.
Do you think them will come out separately, the Shaw Brothers ones?
Well, I would like to think so, but only time will tell. I mean, God knows what Arrow's going to do with the Golden Harbour stuff in the States, but again, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Next one is Vintage John Woo, Bullet in the Head, and this is the 2-disc Platinum Edition. I believe this was 1990, 91, something like that. And again, it's typical Woo. It's like 3 friends and how they basically how their lives progress as the years go by, and how they start off as friends and potentially end up as enemies and that sort of thing.
Make it better tomorrow.
You
think?
Yeah, something like that. Except without the gangster angle, it's more like 3 friends and how they for one reason or another, they've got to escape Hong Kong, and how they keep themselves going, trying to survive. It's a great film. It's actually quite a dramatic film as well, and you do feel for at least one of the characters, and this certainly towards the end, you can't help but feel sorry for them. Me personally, I prefer like the likes of The Killer, Hard Boiled, A Better Tomorrow 2, Just Heroes. That's for me classic Woo. But this again, if you haven't seen it, well worth a watch, because I believe that the rights to Woo's films now are quite expensive. So God knows if you ever get this on Blu-ray in this UK. Hopefully so, but only time will tell. But that's bullet in the head. Give it a go.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen that one back in the day.
And the next one up is The Odd Couple, which I believe has not long been released by Eureka on Blu-ray.
Yeah, actually,
yeah. Not too bad. For me, this one's worth watching for the fights only, because one or two of the characters I find quite annoying. Not the two leads. I mean, Sammo Hung and Long Kong Mung are legends, the veterans. They're always worth a watch. So, me personally, for me, I just watch the fights, the weapons, the choreography, which is fantastic, and it's the weapon work. You're watching two masters who are top of their game, and the fights are fantastic. Right, only a handful more to go here, and the next one up is Skinny Tiger, Fatty Dragon. Once again, this is Sammo Hung and Lau Kar Wing together again, except on opposite sides of the law. Sammo once again in Bruce Lee mode, doing his renowned Bruce Lee impersonation. Again, apart from the fights and the action, I seemed to enjoy it more the first time around. The second time around, I watched it. In between the fights, I wasn't really that entertained, admittedly, and I thought the transfer on this could have been a bit better. The quality could have been better. For I think again 1989, 1990, I think the film was. But again, you watch it, Sammo and Bruce Lee mode. He's always worth watching when he's like that. He looks nothing like Bruce Lee, but he can't quite act like him. But you watch it for the fights, and he's also quite good with the permanent chakus as well at the end, which again, if you've seen the film, you'll know what I mean. So,
do you think that when people just look at Sammo Hung, they just think he's not capable, but they don't realise how good he is?
Well, you know what's been said about Sammo Hung, the fat's where it's at. And it is with him. I mean, you look at him and you do think, well, how can he be any expert martial artist? But he is. He's been going into business for decades. He's one of the all-time greats. He's not just he's a great martial artist, but he's a great director, producer, choreographer. He's one of those guys. It's a bit like, if you look at Luc Besson, if you see film, Luc Besson's name attached to it, you know you're going to get a decent film in one way or another. And it's the same with Sammo. When you see his name and link with the film, whether it's as a producer or director or something else, there's something going to be good about it. Yeah. So yeah, give it a go. Again, I just prefer for the fight, but you might find something else in there worth watching as well.
Yeah, appearances can be deceptive.
Exactly, yeah. And the next one up is the surprise, Sammo again, the Millionaires Express, also known as Shanghai Express. Now, this one has been given an amazing Blu-ray release recently by Eureka. 2 discs, multiple cuts of the film. As you can see, this is the DVD release with only one cut of the film. Handful of extras. This was quite a big film, I believe, for Sammo. I think back in '87, it was, I think, given quite a large budget, quite a large resources to play with. You can see where the money's gone, mate. There's been none of it wasted. Some of the, as is often the case with Sammo, some of the humour works, some of it doesn't. There's some really funny moments, and there's some moments and some characters which don't quite work. But once the fights and the stunts kick in, it's class.
Yeah.
Do
you think that sometimes that Asian cinema does have a different sense of humour that maybe they find really funny over there, and vice versa with us? Sometimes our humour doesn't translate to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm watching the Jackie Chan films, the humour sometimes falls a bit flat.
Yeah.
I think, well, that's not that funny. Yeah. But maybe the audiences find that particular type of stuff funny.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the Lucky Stars films, like Sammo's Lucky Stars films, it's the same thing. Some of the humour works, some of it just falls flat.
Yeah.
But audiences in Hong Kong may be laughing their heads off, And the next one is this bad boy, Eastern Condor, Sammo Hung again. Again, this is one of those big films where Gordon Harvey's given something substantial to work with, and it paid off. You can see again where the budgets went. Hasn't been squandered. He's got a great cast. Sammo Hung, Yun Biao, Yun Hua, Dick Wei, so many others. Again, there's elements from other films, like with Deer Hunter and other films, some such like. But a great film, fantastic fights. I believe a lot of it was full. A lot of it, or most of it, was full contact.
Yeah.
So
You can tell full contact.
You can in this. You certainly can in this. When
Aye.
people get, you can see where somebody's been kicked in the face for real or whatever. And it's not just Samo's not just greatness. I mean, Ewan Biao as well.
Mhm.
You know, he's very underrated. He's always been one of the greats, but he's never been that fully appreciated. But
He always seems to sort of co-star, doesn't he? Doesn't seem to be like the main star.
no, well, there was always like Jackie Chan, Samo, and Ewan Biao. Ewan Biao was always like the to me that he was always overlooked, but he was always great.
Right.
You know,
Excellent.
but Samo classic.
Yeah, that is a good movie.
And talking of Samo classics, there's another one.
Yeah.
Warriors 2. This was 1978, and I believe now this it can be quite confusing because the character in this, Leung Chan, who's basically the Wing Chun master, Leung Chan in this film is an older version of the character played by Ewan Biao in the film Prodigal Son, which was 1980-81. In the Prodigal Son, Ewan Biao plays the same character, Leung Chan, but he plays him as a younger character who's about to learn Wing Chun. In this one, he's an older character who's already a Wing Chun master. But this one again,
well, that makes perfect sense.
It's because one, this film is it's the first film, but the character is older, whereas the film later, a few years later, features the same character but younger. So it can be a bit whoa.
They do sort of the continuity sometimes in the movies can be a bit crazy when you think, hang on a minute, I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you think even direct sequels, you can think they can kind of prequel a lot of stuff, and you think, hang on a minute, where's that going? But it just is what it is, and sometimes you just got to go with it, haven't you?
Exactly. I mean, again, once again, Samo's got a great cast with him here. I think Ewan Biao was in a small bit part, like a bit part bad guy, really before he had a big. But you've got Samo, you've got Leung Kar-yan, you've got Fung Ha-gong, and you've got the great Casanova Wong, one of the great kickers of that 70s cinema. You know, he's great in the greenhouse fight in Game of Death 2 and certain versions of Game of Death. I think he was known as the Human Tornado. He looks nothing like Rudy Ray Moore, but I think he was called Human Tornado because the way he spinning kicks.
Oh yeah,
he's got a hell of a spin kick on him. I wouldn't fancy being on the receiving end of that. But this again, if you like traditional kung fu films, you cannot go wrong with this. So this is definitely one for the devs.
Yeah, all right.
And
I'll tell you what, should be trying all of these. For factual.
I hope she enjoys a whole lot.
Sure will.
And the last one is this one here. Now this again, this is Samo and Ewan Biao and Lau Kar-wing again. And this really, for me, I mean, they're all great in this film. But this film is Ewan Biao's baby, because in this, I mean, this gives you Biao a chance to shine. Really, his acrobatics are fantastic. His martial arts are fantastic. The fights are great. Again, there's a bit of comedy in there. It's not. It's you know, it is what it is. But again, there's plenty of fights. The choreography's spot on. You know, and again, there are some diverse characters in this, and unlike some films where certain characters can be quite annoying, like and The Odd Couple has one or two like that, as I've said, but in this one, some of the most diverse characters aren't really that bad, you know. But again, the fights, the acrobatics are superb, and the fight's fantastic as well. I mean, like I say, Lau Kar-wing, he's great as well. So if you want to see what Ewan Biao is really capable of, I mean, he's been great in the films, but he's well worth watching. It's fantastic.
Well, that to me is one of those ones that's it's one of the best titles there. Knockabout. I think that's one of the titles that you always remember, and it's one of I've forgotten all about it. I'm saying I remember it, but as soon as you brought that out, I'm thinking, yeah, Knockabout. These ones are, like I say, they are classics, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, these ones have upgraded to Blu-ray because 88 Films. Sorry, my mistake. Eureka. They've done Knockabout. They've done The Odd Couple. They've done Warriors 2. They've done Millionaires Express. They've done Skinny Tiger, Fatty Dragon. They've done the whole lot on Blu-ray recently. You know, and let's face it, I mean, Arrow's about to be doing these in the States as well sooner or later, because now they've got the deal with the Golden Harvest. It's only a matter of time before these show up stateside.
Yeah.
God knows what the versions are going to be, like, but only time will tell. And I've got two more to go on the list here. Actually, these are new copies because I've got the Blu-rays and I don't really need the new copies anymore, but I've got a new sealed copy of City Hunter.
City Hunter, aye. Great.
Yeah. 1993, based on the Japanese manga. I think the character's Ryu Saiba. He's like a bit of a ladies' man, detective. To me, this was made in Jackie's, what I would call it, potentially silver period. Where, yeah, he did a lot of films in the 90s. I mean, they've all got their moments, but some are better than others. But again, I've got the Eureka Blu-ray, which it's pretty much bang on the money. I don't need this one, so again, give it a go. See if you enjoy it.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember that one. Remember the fight scenes that were like straight over sort of a video game.
Yeah, it's a bit of a reference to the Street Fighter 2 game where Jackie Chan plays. I think it's the sumo guy. I can't think. And he plays Chun-Li as well. And Gary Daniels plays, I think, is it the Ken or Ryu character. So that's a bit.
Yeah.
And the last one is the 1987 classic Mr. Vampire, starring the late great Lam Ching-ying and also Chin Siu-ho, he's a pretty solid martial artist. I think he's always been a bit undervalued.
Yeah.
There's been a number of different sequels come out from this one, but I mean, I've only ever seen Mr. Vampire 2, which I think had Yu Biao in it. I wasn't that fussed on it, truth be told. As far as I'm concerned, this is great. I mean, but don't expect like westernized vampires here. Yeah. You're not going to get like something like Dracula, like a Lost Boys or something like that. Eastern vampires are a world away from that, and when you watch it, you'll see what I mean. But it's got great action. It's a good laugh. And again, Eureka released this on Blu-ray, I don't know, a couple of years ago or something like that.
Yeah, they did. It kind of went out of print very quickly, I found. It just seemed to disappear.
Well, I know that, it came out with the slipcase originally, so I'm assuming just the Armory case is probably out there. But again, it's as well worth a watch. Just if you're expecting a different kind of vampire, and take it from there.
Well, it's the bouncing, isn't it?
That's what it is.
Yes. I mean, I personally think this is great. I just love the way that they just do it. They kind of just pogo, don't they, everywhere and bounce.
It is.
The arms outstretched. I think it's a crazy thing to watch. And when you first see it, you think, like you say, you're expecting maybe at the push, 7 Golden Vampires, maybe a bit like that. I mean, but that's a lot more traditional martial arts.
It is,
It's a good movie actually, but this one here was a bit of a revelation. When I saw it, I thought, wow, is this a thing? But I remember having a conversation with you years ago about this new cigar. It's a definite thing. It's a trope, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I think
vampires.
Yeah. There's one scene in there I think which might have been influenced by Halloween. The scene in Halloween where Jamie Lee Curtis is in the clothing cupboard.
Yeah.
And she's trying to fight off Michael Myers with the cloth hanger. I think there's a scene in Mr. Vampire which may have been influenced by that. I could be wrong, but watch it and see.
No, I'm dying to watch that one. I remember when you were talking about this, I thought, that rang a bell, and I thought, I'm dying to see this. I mean, it's been a long time since I saw it, and I think I was going to go for the special edition, but of course it just came and went that fast that I didn't get a chance to get it. But I'll definitely have a watch of this.
Well, there was a few. I mean, there was Mr. Vampire, there was Encounters of the Spooky Kind, and what was the other one? There was Chinese Ghost Story. All great films.
That's the one I want. I really want that movie. You just can't seem to get it anyway.
Well, I think it's a case of, not a case of if, it's a case of when, because with it being an HKL DVD, I think it's only going to be a matter of time before either Eureka or 88 Films get to it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a case of, not a case of if, it's a case of when.
I mean, it's so like The Evil Dead, and the camera. It's just nuts. And I think anybody who likes The Evil Dead will love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you like something a bit off the beaten track, then you want to give some of these Asian spook fests a go.
Definitely.
Because I think they seem to be all rage at that time, and like I say, Mr. Vampire, Close Encounters of the Spooky Kind, and Chinese Ghost Story, to me, they're probably the pinnacle of that particular period.
Definitely were. I remember seeing them on TV, and I just thought they were brilliant, and they were very entertaining. Sometimes you may think that these movies aren't entertaining. You may think that because they're just a sort of I think you've got to kind of go in and just look at them and just say, right, it's not your usual vampire movie, but try something different. Try something with a little bit of a twist in it that you might like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's always worth a try in it.
Well,
just not stick your traditional.
Exactly.
Certainly not Twilight, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's there's nothing wrong with being diverse in the vampires in Mr. Vampire are so diverse in what you would normally expect. I mean, if you've been raised on the Lost Boys and Fright Night and near dark and vamp, or like the Hammer stuff, that sort of stuff. Yeah. It is going to be a bit of an eye opener, but in a good way, if you give it a chance.
Exactly. Right, okay, so we're going to leave that one there, because I think we're going to film this next video straight away. And then you're going to see these two. I don't know if this one's going to be first or it's going to be second, but the other one's going to be one. So you're going to get 2 videos out of this. Also, we're talking about maybe if we've got the time to record a 3rd video to put out on a different subject. But it's all good, isn't it, John?
It is, certainly, yeah.
But thanks very much for this, John. I mean, come on.
Not bother.
This is stuff that's, it's going to go and get used. And like I say, there might be some upgrades coming in this. But this is a lovely stash there. And this, I've got quite a bit of DVD, Hong Kong DVD anyway. So it's not a format that I think is dead to me. I think it's a one that I can still get a lot out of.
Well, I've mentioned to you before the whole idea of what I call format hypocrisy when I mentioned to you last time.
Yeah.
And DVD, it's superseded by Blu-ray and UHD, I know that, but it's not a bad format. It's still a good format. It should be respected as such, And
you can get some decent versions on, you can get some decent prints on DVDs, ones that quite surprise you.
Exactly, especially if they're upscale as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Get a little bit extra sort of, get a little extra little bit of clarity on it, yeah, more for that. Anyway, so thanks, John, for this. This is amazing, and we will see you on the next video.
Yeah, we certainly will.
Yeah. We will. So take care. See you next time.
Take care. All the best. Cheers.
Cheers.